Hello everyone, this is Hoda Ganji. In this video, I'm going to show you the difference between generic annotation family versus detail item family. So both of them are 2D families. Generic annotations are scalable. I'll tell you what's scalable in Revit. What does it mean? Detail item families are not scalable. Uh, Generic annotation loads from annotate symbol. Detail item loads from annotate detail component. Generic annotation works better with text. Detail item not so much. Annotation family can be nested into detail item family, but the other way around does not work. Reference plane can be used in detail item family, but reference plane cannot be used in generic annotation. So, as an example, let's see we use these legend items over and over again in our site plans. Instead of creating them in one project, I would suggest that you create it as families so you can use it over and over again. So let's say maybe I'll go with this black one so it has also a field region. First, I'm going to create it as an annotation item. Second, I want to create it as a detail family. So uh, let's go to Revit. I have this site plan from before. I will put the link to the video where I created this site plan. It's basically a set of property lines tagged with a mass, and the mass is cut in order to show where the building is going to be, right? And if I type HC, this is what we have. Let's say we are still in initial phases, and we're going to use some symbols to show where our entrance is going to be. So I'm going to go with this last one. It's a black triangle for the entrance and exit vestibules, for instance. So I'm going to go with creating a family. While the Revit file is open here, I'm going to go to Home menu, and I want to create a new family. I'm going to go to English families. Let's say maybe I'll start with an annotation family, and maybe I will go with metric generic annotation. Hit open. Okay. Usually in 2D families, we put things on area 1 here. How do I mean? If we call this area area 1, 2, 3, and 4, usually if we put them on area 1, they work better in Revit, especially for profiles, which are location sensitive. Okay, back to the topic. I want to create a set of lines to show where my symbol is going to be. I'm going to draw a line. Maybe I will go with only number 10. Okay, and I'm going to go with a 30-degree and the same value, which is number 10 here, and another one which is number 10 here. Uh, and by the way, when I create them, I have the options between generic annotation and invisible lines. Usually we can create more lines if we want under line styles and so on. So right now, if I go to my family category, you see that this is a generic annotation. If you want it to rotate with component, you can check this box. You can keep the text readable and so on. Maybe I'll check both. Okay. How about I just save this family before I continue? So I'm going to save this as entrance symbol, generic annotation. Under options, I'm going to go with one backup, okay, and save. And you can also create a field region. I can pick these 3 lines and I'll go with a field region. If you want to not see the borders, you can change the generic annotations to invisible lines. Check the box. And now this is my generic annotation. Okay, so I'm gonna load this into my site plan, load into project. I can hit a space. I forgot to erase that text. I'll go back and erase it. Let's say I'm gonna put it here. So I'll go back. This text is just for a sample. You can erase it after you are done. Load into project, override, and this is the family. When I click on it, You see it's the generic annotation, the name. How do I load it? Under annotate, it's not here under component, it's here under symbol. So annotation families go under symbol. You can bring it back from here. You can hit a space to change the directions. Okay. What do we mean by scalable? It means if I change this from 1 to 150, for instance, to 1 to 500, see that same way that everything else, such as the elevation tag or the annotation tag for the elevation changes, that also changes in size. So this is 1 to 150, this is, let's say, 1 to 100, this one is 1 to 200. So if you wanted to change with size, having an annotation family would be reasonable. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and also create a detail item family. Same situation. I'll go with my home menu, new, English, and I want to go with metric detail item. And if I go to the types here, you see that this is a detail item. This time I'm going to use some larger values such as 1000. I'll go with 1000. Same, I'm going to go with 30, 1000, 30 degrees, and here. Okay, I'm going to hit tab. Let's say these are detail items. Maybe right now before I change it, and if I hit TL, you see the thickness. TL, which is this icon, switches between thin line and thick lines. Let's also save this one with one backup as a detail item family. I'm going to save it. Before I create the hash, I'm going to load this into project, same project, okay, and I'll hit tab, I'll put it here. I'm going to hit TL, so you see the thick lines. Just to compare, maybe I'll go to my annotation family and just remove the annotation. I'll go back to load into project, okay, and override. Okay. Let's say you want this to be a little bit thicker. Let's say maybe I'm creating the first one, main door locations, but I want to go with a thicker line. The detail item already gives you more options, so I can go with, let's say, medium lines. If I hit TL again, you see it, load into project, okay, overwrite the existing version, right? And again, if I change it to 100, the one which is a generic annotation, it will change in size. The detail item, which is this one, does not change its size. So the annotation families are scalable, detail items are not, right? And where shall I load this? I can go with architecture annotate component, detail item components all go here. Okay, and now let's create the hatch in either of them. Let's say in the detail item, I can go with create, I can go with field region, and I can go with just a solid field black. If you want other types, you can go to edit type and create them. I might go with invisible lines, and I can pick these 3 lines and select it. Reference plane does not work in generic annotation family, but it works in detail item. So if you like detail items better and you want them scalable, the workaround is to create a length parameter. So that's the last thing I want to show you here. I will go to my detail item family. I'm going to go with RP. Let's say I will type 1000, 1000. Okay. So let's say if I get di here, I will have the parameter, the dimension here. I'm going to make this dimension to be a parameter. So I'm going to go with create parameter, make it length. Maybe I will leave it as the type. If it's under type, it's going to show an edit type menu. If it's under instance, it will show in properties menu. Hit OK. See if I change this to, let's say, 1500, it's automatically already working with it. Now for a second, I just want to hide the region, the field region here. I want to draw another reference plane here, and I want it to be 30 degrees. I want to go with di for dimension. I want to get this angular from here to this one, and I want to lock it to be 30 degrees. Okay. And I want to align this line. I want to say AL, this line and this line, and it will be aligned to my 30-degree angle here because we always want this to be 30 degree over there. So now let's see what happens if I change this to 2000, for instance. This side worked, but the other one no. So let's try it for the other one. I want to say RP. I'm going to get another reference plane here. DI, actually angular, this one, and I'll lock it. And I'll go with AL, this line and lock it. Then I want to change this to, let's say, 1500, and now it's working fine, right? So as you see, no matter how I change the size, the angles remain 30 degrees. I'm gonna reset the temporary height. I want to change this to a different value to see how the field region works. It's not following, so I want to go with edit boundary. I want to say, I want to remove this actually, and this time I'm going to pick this line, lock it, pick this line, lock it, pick this line, lock it. Okay, now if I, let's move this outside, if I change this to 1000, now it's all working fine. Now I'm gonna load this into the project, and I override already, and here you see that based on this parameter it's gonna change in size. Like if I have two of these, based on what I assign to length, I can make it more parametric and semi-scalable. Then I can add more options, like I can go here. Let's say this one is for the entrance. I want the main door locations. How about I go to my family types here. I'm going to create one option. I'm going to call this entrance. Okay. Then I want to create another type, and this one I'm going to call it main door location. So main door locations. The difference between the two here is that this one does not have the hatch, so I'll say OK. In this option, I'll actually select the hatch. To the visibility, I'm going to assign a parameter, and I'm going to make this, I'm going to say this is my field region visibility, and OK. Now in my option, in one option, in main door location, field region visibility, I want to remove it. And by the way, I have a typo in the name. I can go to edit and change that capital E to small e. There we go. So in main door location, I removed the visibility. In the entrance, I kept the visibility, right? So if I go back to the project, overwrite the existing. Now if I have two different symbols, I want both of them in the project, I can go with main door locations in one, and this other one is going to be entrance and exit. Another difference between generic annotation family and detail item family is that detail item families can be tagged. So if I go to annotate tag by category, you see that I cannot tag this one, but I can tag a detail item. And if I select this, what is it tagged here? If I check the label, it's tagging type mark. So let's say if I assign a type mark here to this one entrance, so I want to maybe tag it as entrance, or I can tag it as entrance and exit vestibules. I should put the full name, hit OK. I want actually in the tag family, I want to get rid of this uh, maybe rectangle, load it into project, OK and overwrite. Also, you can make it a little bit larger. If I do this, I'm gonna have a bit more room here. Okay. And if I want to tag this one, I'll go back to my tag, annotate, tag by category, tag this one. I can select it and I can say to the type mark, this one is going to be my main door location. So I want to say this is my main door locations and OK. OK, you can also get rid of the leader lines if you don't need them by checking this option here. But I'll keep it for now. So again, annotation families cannot be tagged, but detail items can be tagged. Feel free to go ahead and create other symbols. Let's say, for instance, this one, loading dock locations. If I go back to my family, I can create another one, and it's going to be loading dock locations. In this one, we're going to need one line and there is no hatch, right? So in this one, if I go to this type, see that I should remove the hatch. That's one thing. Second thing, I should add a line. See that this line is gonna be thicker. Now I'm gonna add a new line, and this one I want it to be heavier. Actually, I have already purged my family. So if I need a new line style, I need to create it by going to Manage Object Style, and I'm going to create a new line, and maybe I can name it Heavy Lines, and I'm going to put it on maybe 5. Okay, and this one, I want to change it to my heavy line. If I hit TL, you see that it's heavier, right? It's thicker. And then this one is also going to have a visibility parameter for, I'm going to call it loading dock line, loading dock line. So the way it works is that if I go to my types here, in the loading dock location, this line should be seen. In the other two entrance, this should be hidden, the line. And in the main door locations, this should be hidden. OK, load into project. OK, override the existing. Now I want to have one more option here, and I want to put this on loading dock locations. And if I hit TL here, you see that this line, the one at the bottom, is thicker than the triangle line, right? And you can hit TL to go between thick and thin lines, and I can tag this one too. I'm going to go with annotate, tag by category, and remember that the tag is going to read from the type mark in the family, so I can name this one loading dock locations. Okay. Now, one last thing is that no matter which of the two methods you want to go with, the annotation or the detail line, eventually you're going to need a legend. I want to right click on the legend, go with new legend. Let's say I'm going to call it site plan legend. I'll hit OK. I'm going to go with component and bring a detail component, and I can put my component here. I would suggest whenever you have legends, put it on site and see what's the more or less what's the size of it. Now this one it seems too big, so I want to go with the site legend. I want to change it to 1 to 100, so it's going to be a bit smaller. Now it's getting better. So here in the legend, I can add, I can tag it here in the legend as well. So the good thing is when I tag it and I want to remove the leader, I don't need to type the whole text again, right? Then I'm gonna copy this two more times here and here, and I'm gonna change this one to let's say loading dock location, and I want to change this to main door locations. This is how it's gonna show. Maybe it's a better idea to put this here at the bottom, and I can put this here. You know what? Maybe I'll change this to no title, and then here I'm just gonna add my site plan legend as a text. So I'm gonna go with annotate text, and I'm gonna say this is my site plan legend. Feel free to make this larger. So if I select this, maybe I'll go with a larger. So if I look at it, it's gonna look like this in here. Okay, so this is how you create the legend. You can add one more option for the driving locations. By the way, if instead of a detail line you decided to go with symbols, you can still have a legend. I'm going to call it symbol legend. So it's different than the other one. And maybe I'll go with the same thing, 1 to 100. And you can just bring the symbol from here. I can put the generic annotation, and you can add the text and everything. Like for this one, I should add this is entrance and exit vestibule. So I'm gonna add a text, and I'm gonna type entrance and exit vestibules. So this is a symbol type of legend. You bring symbols. This other one is a detail item legend, which you bring component detail items. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and you find it helpful. Just to wrap up, so generic annotation is scalable, loads from symbol, but cannot be tagged. It can be nested into other families. A reference plane does not work. Detail item is not scalable, but you can make it parametric. Loads from components, just like other types of families. It can be tagged, but cannot be nested into annotation family. It can be nested, although in other types of families, and reference plane works inside detail item family. That's it for this video. Thank you so much. Please like and subscribe for more videos.